Welcome to the tutorial video for EA3, Intro to Tone Curve and Histogram. Remember to add photos, toggle this icon in the top left-hand corner, hit Add Photos, and then choose the photo you'd like to use. By hitting the edit icon in the top right-hand corner, it'll bring you right into the photo. So at the top of the edit menu, you'll see this this graph, and this is the histogram. And we'll get further into the histogram in other editing assignments. But just a quick overview is what the histogram does is it shows you each color channel, and it shows you where the densest amount of pixels are in terms of the value or the lightness and darkness. So on the left side are the darkest values, and on the right side are the lightest values. And you can see that the highlights especially are going way off the chart over here on the right. It's easier to see in the tone curve. If you open up the light menu and scroll down, you should see this black bar that says tone curve. In the tone curve, it shows you a similar graph, except right now we're just in all values here on the left, and it's compressing everything together, so it's giving you an average. And what it does is it separates the graph into 4 quadrants. So on the left side, you have your shadows. In the left middle, you have your darks. In the right middle, you have your lights. And on the very right, you have your highlights. And it's hard to see, but the highlights do go way off the chart because there's all these very, very bright values in the sky. So we're just going to do a really quick edit in order to bring down some of those really bright highlights and then increase some of the contrast in the middle tone areas. So in order to do so, I'm going to place my cursor into the highlights box and just pull this down slightly. And what this does is it reduces the amount of highlights. And you can see in the histogram that green line is actually getting a little bit lower. Now, what I'm going to do is, in the darkest range, which is also peaking, I'm going to pull this down as well. And so that gives me greater contrast in the darker areas and not quite as bright highlights in the sky. And if I want, I can tinker around with the other areas too, just to see if it gives me a better look than what I currently have. And so I'm going to raise up these lighter areas, and then you can see that it's actually, in the histogram, you can see that it's actually flattening out some of those darker areas as well. So the tone curve and the histogram work together in showing you the visual information for all your values and all your colors. That's all we're going to do with these elements today, but we'll do more editing assignments where we get further along into the other aspects and menus of the tone curve, as well as other things that the histogram can help you do in editing your photos.